This is a story from the Fortune Ledger HQ. Before you press play tonight, before the red N lights up your screen, understand this. Netflix did not begin to decline when subscribers left. It began to decline when everything was perfect, at its peak, at its most powerful, at the moment the world believed it was unbeatable. Because history has a rule. Empires don't fall when they're weak. They fall when they think they're done winning. This is the beginning of Netflix's decline. By 2019, Netflix wasn't just a company. It was a habit, a reflex embedded into modern life. You didn't ask yourself what to watch. You asked yourself when to open Netflix. Every night, in millions of homes, the same silent ritual unfolded. Lights off, notifications muted, Netflix on. It had crossed 150 million subscribers worldwide. More than HBO, more than cable television, more than Hollywood studios that had shaped culture for nearly 100 years. Netflix no longer distributed entertainment. It controlled attention. And in the modern economy, attention is the most valuable currency on earth. Wall Street saw a miracle. The stock price soared. The valuation exploded. Employees were paid like Silicon Valley royalty. The media crowned Netflix the future of entertainment. And Reed Hastings? He wasn't just a CEO. He was a legend. The man who killed Blockbuster, outsmarted cable, and bent Hollywood to his will. But beneath the celebration, inside the system, something wasn't breaking loudly. It was breaking quietly, structurally. And structural failures don't make noise. They wait. To understand Netflix's decline, you must understand the deal it made. The deal that powered its rise. And later, nearly destroyed it. In its early years, Netflix owned almost nothing. No legendary franchises. No massive studios. No decades of intellectual property. Instead, it did something smarter. It licensed content. Movies. TV shows. Entire libraries. Cheaply. Efficiently. Brilliantly. Hollywood didn't see Netflix as a threat. They saw it as a side hustle. A digital experiment. A place to dump old content. So Netflix built its empire on borrowed power. And for a while, it worked perfectly. Until Hollywood woke up. Disney looked at the data and realized something terrifying. Netflix wasn't promoting Disney movies. Netflix was replacing Disney. The same realization hit Warner Brothers, NBC Universal, Paramount. Netflix was no longer a partner. It was a parasite growing too large to ignore. So Hollywood did what it always does when threatened. It pulled the plug. Licensing deals ended. And content began vanishing. Fast. Friends. The Office. Marvel. Star Wars. One by one, the crown jewels disappeared. Netflix faced a brutal choice. 1. Accept decline. 2. Or replace everything alone. They chose option 2. Netflix made a declaration that changed entertainment forever. We don't need Hollywood. They would become Hollywood. Netflix originals. At first, it worked. House of Cards proved legitimacy. Stranger Things proved cultural dominance. And success bred confidence. Then confidence became belief. Then belief became obsession. Netflix decided the solution to losing content was creating more content. Much more. Every genre. Every language. Every audience on Earth. Money stopped being a limitation. Netflix didn't think like a studio. Studios ask, will this make money? Netflix asked, will this increase subscriber growth? So they spent $5 billion, $10 billion, $15 billion a year. Debt stacked quietly in the background. But Wall Street didn't care. Subscriber numbers kept rising. And Netflix became addicted to growth. And every addiction has one rule. The next hit must always be bigger than the last. At first, Netflix originals felt special. Then they felt constant. Then they felt endless. Every week, new releases. Every day, something new. But something unexpected happened. Choice turned into fatigue. Scrolling replaced watching. People opened Netflix. Scrolled for 20 minutes. Then closed the app. The algorithm was powerful. But even algorithms can't fix overproduction. The platform became noisy, crowded, forgettable. Hits still happened, but they disappeared just as fast. A show would dominate conversation for a week, then vanish completely. No cultural permanence, no rewatch value, no legacy. Netflix wasn't building classics. It was feeding a content treadmill, and treadmills never stop. By 2020, Netflix had conquered the easy markets. North America? Saturated. Europe? Slowing. So Netflix went global. Asia, Africa, Latin America. Subscribers came in, but at lower prices, lower revenue, lower margins. Growth continued on paper, but the quality of growth declined. And then, something unexpected happened. A global pandemic. COVID should have been Netflix's golden era. The world shut down. People stayed home. Screens became windows to reality. Netflix exploded. Subscribers surged. Stock price doubled. Executives celebrated. The media crowned Netflix the ultimate pandemic winner. But COVID didn't create demand. It borrowed it from the future. People binge-watched everything, finished shows faster, burned through entire libraries. And when the world reopened, Netflix faced a terrifying truth. Everyone who wanted Netflix already had it. The growth wasn't organic. It was pulled forward, and the bill was coming due. Then came 2022. Netflix reported something unthinkable. Subscriber loss. Not slower growth. Actual decline. Wall Street panicked. The stock collapsed. Billions in value disappeared overnight. For the first time, Netflix wasn't inevitable. It was vulnerable. And once the market smells weakness, it never forgets. Netflix needed answers. Fast. So it attacked something it had ignored for years. Password sharing. Over 100 million households were watching without paying. Before, Netflix joked about it. Now, it became the enemy. Accounts were locked. Fees were added. Rules tightened. It worked short-term. Revenue jumped. But something else vanished. Goodwill. Netflix stopped feeling friendly. It felt corporate, punitive. And when users feel punished, they start exploring alternatives. While Netflix struggled, its rivals arrived fully armed. Disney Plus launched with decades of beloved franchises. HBO Max had prestige and legacy. Amazon Prime didn't need profit. Apple TV Plus had infinite cash. Netflix wasn't fighting cable anymore. It was fighting empires. And Netflix had one fatal weakness. It needed subscribers. Others didn't. Disney could lose money for years. Amazon didn't care. Apple barely noticed. Netflix stood alone. Costs kept rising. Debt kept growing. So Netflix raised prices. Again, and again, and again. For many users, Netflix became the most expensive app, with the least guaranteed quality. Canceling Netflix no longer felt impossible. It felt reasonable. And when a product becomes optional, the empire cracks. Netflix tried everything. Reality TV, mobile games, live experiments, then ads. The very thing Netflix once mocked. An ad-supported tier launched. Necessary, logical, but symbolic. Netflix wasn't disrupting TV anymore. It was becoming TV. The rebel had become the establishment. Netflix trusted data more than instinct. Shows were greenlit by metrics, completion rates, watch time, engagement curves. But great stories don't obey spreadsheets. They are risky, messy, unpredictable. Netflix canceled shows early. Audiences learned a painful lesson. Don't get attached. Why invest emotionally if it'll be gone in one season? The algorithm optimized efficiency and quietly killed loyalty. Netflix's machine was expensive and debt-funded. When interest rates rose, borrowing became painful. Suddenly, burning cash forever wasn't an option. Profitability mattered. But Netflix was built on spending ahead of revenue. Turning that ship was slow, painful, and public. Netflix didn't lose because of competition, or content, or passwords. It lost something deeper. Narrative control. Once, Netflix was the future. Now it was just another app. And in a crowded market, being just another app is fatal. Netflix is still massive, still powerful, still profitable, but it is no longer inevitable. The decline didn't begin with failure. It began at the top, when success blinded leadership, when growth hid fragility, when momentum was mistaken for permanence. Netflix didn't collapse. but it stopped being untouchable. And history teaches us one brutal lesson. Every empire falls the moment it believes it can't. If you want more stories about money, power, and the rise and fall of empires, subscribe to the Fortune Ledger.